Well, there's a term that came to my mind trying to almost picture you with Is on that first release, and there had to be a kind of vision, I guess, that he must have had, and it's kind of interesting in a way because throughout time, a lot of times, a wonderful artist's first solo release or their first vision of their first dream come true carries a lot of magic in it, and
Right.
it sometimes really is so special because this is the budding of their dream, and it seems like Facing Future just had all of the elements. I mean, you couldn't have known back then.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Neither Israel or myself. We didn't. I never know, and I never put that in my mind walking into a studio saying, I'm going to make the best record of my life today. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I just walk in and do my job. And a lot of times walking out, an artist will ask me, this is Hoku material, right? Hoku Hanu material. I'm going to win a Hoku, right?
Right.
And, that's the farthest thing from my mind,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And there was magic. There was magic that happened during Facing Future, And Israel, and I first, when our first session, I gave him a book that was about an inch thick. It was a drawing book, with a black cover. It was a sketch pad.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I want you to go home, and I want you to write down every song you could imagine or like or would want to sing, okay? Anything. I don't care if it's a Russian folk song. Just write it down, okay? And let's just see. And he came back and he called me. He called me about 1:00 that night and said, "I'm still writing in this frickin' book." And he had filled pages up, okay, of songs and such like that. And the next day he showed them to me, And we would just methodically go down them and pick, a number of songs to start recording. And I was always over-record. I would, if there's 10 or 12, it happens to be 14 songs on Facing Future.
Mm-hmm.
That's an oddity today. It's normally 10,
Mm-hmm.
okay, for a lot of reasons, but 10 songs are about what a CD is now. But when I record, the 13 songs that ended up, we probably recorded 20, and whittled it down to 14 for the CD.
A lot of takes on each track, or?
On some days. Some days when he was tired, it was a few takes, or stopping halfway through and restarting because he missed a verse, or he put a verse in the wrong section,
Mm-hmm.
or he played a wrong chord, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, not a whole lot of takes. I mean, if we didn't, my producer etiquette basically is that if we can't get it in 3 takes, we got to move on. You're tired, and it's not happening.
Wow.
Okay.
That's pretty amazing.
And really, the first take is like just a debugging session, a run through, making sure the chords are right, making sure you got the right tempos and the lyrics are correct, and da-da-da-da. The second take we burn off, okay, and then the third one we do for free basically because we either got it or we didn't,
Mm-hmm.
And it's so difficult to work on for an artist. They will burn out really fast if they do like 25 takes of each song. It's just overkill.
Yeah.
Now when you get on stage, of a performance, and Israel is a performer,
Mm-hmm.
He would never in the middle of a song stop and say, "Oh, I got to start again. I played a wrong chord."
Mm-hmm.
You'd never do that on stage. So grip and bear. And with the science we have today at our fingertips, which is nonlinear waveform editing, there are things we can do in this current day that I couldn't do with Israel's album 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That there's stuff we can do now that is phenomenal science. But I leave that on the science part. I leave on the back burner until the very end. I do not walk into a project knowing, I can fix that in the mix. I can fix that with science. I can do that. Oh, no, let that go. I can fix that. Let that go. Never mind. I can fix that. I don't do that. I go in and try to get a performance. But I know well enough if halfway through a really glorious performance and the guitar player has a pick in his hand, and he hits the strings a little hard, and the pick goes across the guitar and makes a scraping sound. In the old days, you would stop tape, you would back it up to 0, and you'd start it again. But in current day, in the 21st century, that click or pop or snap or wood hit of the guitar can be drawn out of a waveform, and you do not hear it. So we have incredible tools to help us, but it still comes down to the song, the performance, the arrangement, and how you drive it home. Okay.
When you finished that release, Facing Future, and Iz was listening to the final master and everything, and I imagine you were probably there with him, and what was his feeling and what was your feeling about it?
I felt very good because we maintained both of our wish lists. We some of the first questions I ask are, what kinds of things do you want to do? You want to just reproduce the Makaha Sons? And that I knew I was going to get a no thank you on that, okay, from Israel. And what we basically both said is we should keep it really simple. We should go back to the root, which is really, he was and is, no pun intended, is a great ukulele player.
Yeah.
He strums an ukulele like no one. He just has a rhythm, a groove that he can get into. And so I really wanted to take it back to its basics and keep it simple. Now, every day when we walked into the studio, we'd look each other in the eyes, and on the phone and stuff, we'd say, we're going to keep it simple, right? Now, we did do some complicated pieces on the album. Like the first hit that was out of Facing Future was Maui Superman. That was all kind of a MIDI digital band at that point. And that was a kind of a Hawaiian song. So there was a little bit of that action in that album. But if you look at the album in its entirety, it's simple. It's straightforward. It's really simple. It's back to basics. It's showing off Israel. I didn't want to do a lot of harmonies around him because he came from that with the Makaha Sons. I wanted to keep his voice, which I thought was a major asset. He besides his ukulele strumming and playing and such, he was an elementary player. He just didn't play in a lot of different keys or a lot of fancy stuff, but boy, could he find the groove with the strum and the element that takes the listener on a voyage. Okay, it's the groove. And years ago, they used to call it, when we had vinyl records, they say it's in the groove.
Yep.
Okay, that's the lingo we used to use.
Yep.
It's in the grooves or not.
Yep.
That means it's a good song or a bad song.
Or it's groovy.
It was groovy in our day, or my day at least.
In my day too.